good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome indeed to another edition of Titans Talk right here on the Mark Mosey Show as we talk all things Eastern Florida athletics. We got to talk to this fine gentleman. He is super busy this time of year with the tennis program for the men's and women's Titans teams. Yes, he is Nick Rossetti. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good, Mark. Thanks so much for not only having me, but having me back. So I guess I'm okay the first time, right?
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to cancel you, Coach. No, you come on anytime you want. Let's start with the men's program. We were talking off air. You guys have had a good March so far, going 3-1, multiple tough opponents, but I know you're proud of this. And then you're off till first weekend in April. So let's talk March. How did you think it went here with those multiple matches?
Well, the phrase March Madness is kind of attributed to basketball, but it really aligned with what happened with our schedule out in Texas. It's kind of a tough schedule whenever you travel so far to get a bunch of dual matches in. You don't have too much recovery in between. But we had four top 10 matches in less than 3 overall days. That was aligned with travel and kind of the fatigue and also getting stuck in airports with everything that was going on and some delays and cancellations. But overall, to walk away with beating the number 5, number 6, and number 10 teams in the country on back-to-back days with little rest was a really good result for us. And then obviously when we played Tyler Junior College, number 1 team in the country, lost 2-7, but had 2 matches go to third set breakers. So, just a few points away from flipping that script to a 4-5 on the back end of, a long 4-day trip when guys are tired, fatigued, etc. But it was a good test. It was a good weekend to kind of show exactly the type of shape that we have to be in May, which is how the national championship will be set up, where you're asked to play multiple matches, consecutive days. So overall, that was a good result for us. And, the March Madness. We didn't play with the original lineup one match, so things happen. Injuries happen, cramps happen, weather happens, the heat gets to people. So all in all, with all those factors considered, I couldn't be much happier.
From a coaching standpoint, I know that's difficult, everything you just said, all those obstacles, but were you proud of your team for how they competed during that whole stretch you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And you used the correct word, compete. Very, very seldom are all the variables ever going to go your way. And so that was also a really good learning opportunity for a lot of players. It's never going to be perfect. Very seldom is the situation ever going to be perfect for every player, for us on every day and every match. Just not how the world works. So overall, it was a good test for guys to kind of learn how to navigate that type of format where you're being asked to play a lot in a very short period of time. And then obviously too, whenever you're fatigued, whenever you're tired, you're cramping, how do you manage yourself throughout those matches? And then collectively as a team, how do we adjust and adapt the lineup to give ourselves the best chance of winning? So overall, we competed well. Couldn't have asked much more. Like I say, getting those 3 top 10 wins was paramount, for our seeding moving forward for nationals in May. It's not the end goal where we want to be at, but it's a step in the right direction.
All right. 3 different opponents that short of time. And look, tennis happens, but from a coaching standpoint, how did you get your players ready where it's like, all right, now we're taking on this team. And then you turn around. Was there a 20-minute window? How did you try to coach this team, Coach?
Yeah. So on days when you have to double up, it's kind of tough. That first day of competition, we played at a noon start time, which is nice and sunny and hot. And then that match got done about 4:00. We get a quick bite to eat and we play again at 6:00, and then get off the court about 9:30, 9:45, swing through whatever's open late after 10 o'clock, and then eat, shower, sleep, and get up and do it again the next day. But I also think a lot of that too, there's very different elements of conditioning. There's practice conditioning, and then of course there's match or your game conditioning. And so for a lot of our guys, that was really the big first test of this season, where we did stack a lot of matches on top of each other. It's a lot different when we're practicing and preparing for just one match on one day. But it was a good kind of precursor to what's to come. We have a few more events coming up this the rest of this season that'll kind of help align with that schedule as well. We'll take a trip, and we have a nice match against Division I Troy coming up, so that'll be a good test as well. So
I've learned this from Coach today. We don't want noon with the start in the dead of heat. Like, we don't want that. What are the best conditions? At night, early morning? What would you prefer, Coach?
Everyone's a little bit different. I know, especially at least in terms of visibility, a lot of our guys prefer a good morning start. You know, in an ideal world, you'll get that 8 a.m., 9 a.m. start time, but that's not how the national championship works. You're going to play when they tell you to play. All right.
Yeah.
Wherever that bracket has you, that's when you got to perform. So if anything too, that could be, a better part of the test that the weekend gave us, playing in, the absolute hottest window of time throughout an afternoon. And really the national championship is just a war of attrition. Normally whoever's in the best shape are going to be the ones who win that.
You talked about conditioning. Your sport is not easy when we talk about tennis at any level. How important is it that your players are in the top physical shape and make sure that they are playing at their top level?
Well, you'll tell, you can get on your, give a little speech, and tell everyone, oh, it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that. But then they really don't believe you until after they cramp, or until after the fact. And then, it's a great story. The last two national championships at Valdosta State were really the byproduct of being in better shape. We had opponents cramp in the national championship match. And so whenever those type of elements, come together, it reiterates itself. Whoever's in the best shape is going to be in the best position to win. So we're getting there. And, a lot of good practice sessions in the heat. We don't practice at night. We're practicing kind of right in this, late morning, early afternoon time frame, so that we're getting a lot of exposure to the sun and heat, and that we'll be in good shape and ready to go in May.
Okay, you were kind of saying this a second ago, but I just want to bring this up. All right, so you guys are now off until, I believe, next weekend, first weekend there in April. Who are you guys going to be taking on?
So, yeah, we have a really good match. We're taking on a top 10 NAIA team in Southeastern over in Lakeland on April 3rd, so that'll be a good match. And then the next weekend, we're traveling to play my alma mater. We're playing about a top 40 ranked NAIA team in ABAC, and then playing Troy at Troy the next day. And then a fun one, we'll be hosting, a top 3 team in the country in Kaiser on April 14th. So that'll be a fun one, and hopefully we can get some tennis people out, and I can meet some people in the community and they can meet us.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, you love this time of year, because you know what I'm going to say. You're going to be very busy in April with your team. Do you love this? I know you're talking March Madness, but are you excited for this schedule in April?
Yeah, I mean, really what we have scheduled is what's going to prime us for nationals. We've got top 10 NAIA teams. We have a top 5 D2. We're playing St. Leo at the end of the month as well in April. So it's the schedule is aligned to help our players succeed, not just in terms of tennis and performance, but also conditioning, of getting high quality matches and getting all the reps in right before it matters most. So like you said, April will be very busy, but it needs to be for us so that we can be where we need to be at for May 11th.
Good point. All right. Recruiting for men. All right. I know it never ends, especially when you're at Eastern Florida. You only get them for 1 or 2 years. What's going on with men's recruiting moving forward, Coach?
Men's recruiting is going very good. We're pretty much done. I've got all the roster spots solidified for next year. We have a kind of an older team this year, which is good in terms of performance. You have experienced players, but then of course a little bit more turnover and more work for me in recruiting. So, but we've got a full team already signed for fall. So men are completely done, and I'm looking forward to seeing the guys that we have coming in. It's going to be fun. We
talked about this last time you're on, but I want to go over this again. What type of student athlete are you looking to try to, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm sorry. It's been a long week. What are the type of players are you looking to recruit there at Eastern Florida then?
Well, to make a long story short, I'm basically looking for winners. A lot of people can say a lot of things. There are a lot of variables associated with why someone wants to come to the U.S. to play college tennis. You know, if you've ever, if anyone has ever seen a recruiting video, they'll go, "My name is Nick Rossetti. I started playing tennis at X years old. I'm looking to combine my tennis and college, whatever, you know?" So I don't actually ask for any of that. The way I recruit players is I just get to know them as a person first. Because I think if I know you as a person, then I can help you better as an athlete. And also too, you know, the phrase that you use is student athlete, right? The person normally comes before the athlete in this business. So I try to recruit people first and tennis players second. And so have long conversations and see who they are, see what they're about. And if I think that we have mutual goals that align, then I'll get them.
Is there an old video of your recruiting video where, because it's funny the way you said that, Coach. Is there one out there like that? No.
Nope.
No.
Mine was in person. Thank goodness. There are some cringe videos of people out there.
Don't worry. I have my own, my early demo reels. I understand. So that's the men's team. Let's go to the women's team, and we'll start with recruiting. I know you're trying to build a new roster for next season. What's the latest on the recruiting hunt then?
Women is going very well. You know, for right now, we basically, when I came in, have one returner. So in January, you know, the fall roster was one. And so everything's been going really well. We've got 5 girls signed, which is, you know, already a complete team. So
yeah,
looking forward just to add 1 or 2 more. And it's nice to have the work done early. You know, a lot of times with international student athletes, the earlier the better. You don't want to risk getting into summer and then going through all the paperwork and the visas and the appointments and everything. So overall, women are looking good, have a complete full team. And hopefully on the next one, I'll be able to officially share some profiles and give a little intro to some of our new players.
That is really cool. And I know, like you said, this is a project for you. You got to build a team. Do you love, from a coaching standpoint, do you love that part of your job? Like, hey, I got to go build a roster now. Yeah,
I mean, it's like I said earlier, it never ends. There's always that kind of that constant. You're always looking for players, like every single day. You know, you're watching videos, you're checking emails, you're looking at results. I even remember for me before, like I was signing a kid on Christmas morning one year from Italy. So it never really stops. But I think you have to like it. You have to enjoy that grind. And so we'll see. We'll see next year how they do.
Yeah. And I hope, when you come back on, we'll do the update on that, which will be really exciting for the program. We'll end with this with a fun one. Dude, are your players growing the mustache as well? The people need to know. Is this a whole team effort, or is it just you as the coach?
Trying to. We'll see, and there'll be a nice team photo too that we'll be able to share moving forward. There will be some aspect that they choose, whether it's, you know, blue highlights in their hair, if they want to buzz the E into the side, mustache, whatever. I've seen it all. So I'm hoping they don't go with the buzz cuts. I'm really hoping not.
No. You like, okay, you got a good look. You look like, also, it's a great stash. You look like your opening day starter for baseball as well. You got the look for you, Coach. I like it. It does.
Thank you.
Hey, whatever helps to win. Whatever we got to do, let's do it.
It's only crazy if it doesn't work.
That's a good point. All right. You guys are off this weekend, and then you're going to be competing next weekend, which is going to be awesome. We'll keep you posted. Yes, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck with everything, and I hope I can get you on again sometime.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, Mark. Thank you.